Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan, and it is a mess out there. The rush is on to the government trough. The loss of confidence is spreading. Ever since we had the Treasury, the Fed, the FDIC, and the direction of Biden bailed out Silvergate Bank and then the Silicon Valley Bank, followed by the top tier banks that propped up First Republic. And now over the weekend, there's deep talks where the Swiss National Bank has sent out a lifeline to Credit Suisse, and UBS is trying to pull off some deal before the markets open on Monday. Sky News reported about 8 minutes ago that they're trying to come up with a solution tonight. However, this is going to be the big issue of the week. It's the coalition of mid-sized banks, the MBCA. They are America's community banks, which make up 13,000 branches in every state and territory. They've sent a letter to Yellen, the Fed, and the comptroller pleading protection to ensure all bank deposits for the next 2 years. Have a look at this. It's curious that in the top 20 by market cap, only XRP is up with a modest 1.8%, possibly based on the hope for a positive decision coming from Judge Torres now any day, which, by the way, reminds me to tell you that Attorney John Deaton said something very interesting about the Hinman emails. Let me share that. John is sure that the Hinman emails will be made public at some point, regardless of Judge Torres' decision on whether to seal. He believes that she will declare them judicial documents and order that they are unsealed with limited redactions. But even if she doesn't, they will be made public. Why is he so confident? There will be more enforcement actions filed. And any action taken against an ERC20 token, that is what an Ethereum-based token is, the emails and drafts will help in their defense. So all the future litigation, which is in 200 to 300 enforcement actions to come still, John says the truth will see the daylight. On this next clip, I'm going to share a tiny portion of a conversation that I had with Sherry. Sherry can be found on Twitter at CherryEmpress21. I asked her, is there anything she can find positive coming out of this 2-year plus litigation that we've had with the SEC versus Ripple? Here's her reply.
This isn't just Ripple's fight. This is the entire space, and the footnotes that have come from the case already being 2 years in, you see some of these arguments reappearing, but instead of it being from other parties, these are other cases. These are in the amicus filings. More recently in the SEC versus Wahi case, you've got ICANN, that their amicus filing, and then it was a Coinbase, their amicus filing. And reading both of those, it literally mirrored every great point in Ripple's case.
Wow.
So if that's what came of 2 years of pain, essentially pain, another 2.5 years, we begin to see almost the layout that's going to unfold. And as Ripple stumbles through this, what's a good argument, what's a bad argument, others are watching.
Yeah, right.
And the smart ones prepare for it.
Right. Good point. Hadn't really thought of it in those terms. Judge Torres, is she watching crypto Twitter?
You just had to go with a super speculative question. Let's see. It is my understanding that she is, for the very reason that the SEC referenced in some of their motions some of John Deaton's previous tweets.
Yeah, the fact that that was brought up, then it does highlight the fact that there's a lot going on in crypto Twitter.
I would surmise as much. So I would probably feel comfortable saying that Judge Torres is probably not unaware that there is in fact an active community. And the fact that John's got, what's he at,
76,000 about. Yeah, it's quite remarkable, not only for this case, but how social media, and particularly Twitter, we saw it play out in a new way like we'd never seen it before, with the communication that flies for the banks and how it has fed into some of the bank runs. So yeah, it's just amazing how this new form of communication, and not that it's so new, but it's new in the way that it's being used. I'll be bringing more of that interview to you in future videos. Now I'm going to jump over to Twitter. This is Krippenreiter. He had a really valuable tweet. There were 24 tweets in the thread, and it was about the ISO 20022. I wanted to see if I could make it more concise. I fed his 24 tweets into ChatGPT. Unbelievable as it may seem, it was able to put it into one tweet. This is basically the efforts to create a uniform communication interoperability across financial institutions using a single message standard. And it also goes on to say that there are no ISO 20022 compliant cryptocurrencies, and the digital token identifier is a standard that's going to be utilized. It's a huge transformation and undertaking for the IT admins. Wow, I'm just so impressed with this Chat GPT. It's really, really amazing. Just for the record, I want to say that I don't believe we're going to have any impact on price when this goes live. The use of crypto in payments is going to be a gradual increase, and it takes more regulation. And speaking of impact on price, I just can't go with Balaji's $1 million bet. He has put this bet that Bitcoin will rampage past 1 million in 90 days. The former CTO of Coinbase, who I've always viewed as being above average intelligence, made this public wager in a Twitter space yesterday. His reasoning is we're going to see a hyperinflation scenario. Well, I'll tell you, that is one scenario we don't want to see. And real quick, for those of you living in Singapore, you might be interested in attending the Exploring Commercial Payments to CBDCs at the Ripple office on March 23rd. From 6 to 7:30 p.m., you can listen to a presentation given by the head of business development at Ripple and also the director of business development at Ripple. Kind of interesting, and it's free to attend. So just as I was wrapping up this video, we have the news that UBS offers to buy Credit Suisse for up to $1 billion. How interesting is this? So they have offered to buy Credit Suisse for up to $1 billion, with Swiss authorities planning to change the country's laws to bypass a shareholder vote on the transactions as they rush to finalize the deal before Monday. Wow. I'm just reading this along with you for the first time. The all-share deal between Switzerland's two biggest banks is set to be signed as soon as Sunday evening and will be priced at a fraction of Credit Suisse's closing price on Friday, all but wiping out the target's shareholders, 4 people with direct knowledge of the situation, so it said. Wow, my initial thoughts are, I think this is going to calm the markets a little bit, but still at the same time, it's shocking. The failure of Credit Suisse is not shocking. What's shocking is that the Swiss authorities are planning to change the country's laws to bypass a shareholder vote. That is what is shocking. Some of the people said that the current terms were unfair for Credit Suisse and its shareholders. Yeah, I think so. And others criticized the plans to void normal corporate governance rules by preventing a UBS shareholder vote. Yeah, that's the shocking part. All right, everybody, we're jumping to the fluff. Well, there is something that's very interesting. It's a new type of construction being used here in Tokyo, and it's made out of loam soil. Loam is a combination of sand, silt, and clay, and it's usually not used outside of masonry blocks or for backfill. But this architect has built the first home with this construction, and it really has some special qualities. It has the ability to store heat, but also is a great insulator from the cold. I think the earth tones are just beautiful and very livable, and I love this semi-private brick wall. Feels so open, but full of light and still a sense of privacy. It's very reminiscent of the early tea houses that were constructed in Edo period. So I do believe it's going to be a popular choice. I'm not sure of the cost, but it just fits the Japanese austere style. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.